Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. My name's David and this is my channel. So I'm going to start today with a little bit of a disclaimer, why I'm doing this channel and why I'm sharing this information. Uh, it's interesting, we sometimes this idea of intellect, this idea of I know and I've experienced and this I've been doing it for 30 years or I've done this, and we tend to kind of, Eckhart Tolle would say, we tend to kind of be a basket and fill ourselves up, right? Then what happens is we want to then give it to everybody else what we know. Now, as a teacher of martial arts, also a teacher of God, of Source, I've learned that that's not how it goes. That what happens is that I'm learning with everybody, and it's really wonderful. So as I share, I receive clarity back in the form of my sharing. I start a conversation, and then Source fills it in order to give me the clarity that I seek. So as a teacher, I become the student, and as a student, you are the teacher. And this is something slowly starting to be kind of be understood here, especially in the Western world. The idea of not using our intellect in order to teach others, but in order to allow Source to flow in through us and be more of a channel based on the experiences that we're having, and then sharing it with others so they can get their own clarity from it. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be able to share it in order to receive this clarity back for my own sake and for my own journey. So that's kind of a fun way of thinking about it, isn't it? You see, so it's really important to understand that, I'm here, we're here, each one of us here, Source is here, and then we're receiving from Source. We're receiving that bigger perspective, that broader perspective in the form of clarity all the time. And then we received it through the experience of our life. So today's video is going to be called "The World is Inside Us." Now, what does that mean? That simply means that because we have two worlds that live in us for the most part, right? Speaking definitely from my perspective, this idea of a negative world, or a world that's not working out, or a world of murder, and a world of disease, and a world of problems, and so forth and so on. And then we have another world that's flowing, that's fun, that is exciting and eager and beautiful and amazing and extraordinary. So we have these kind of two worlds that are sitting right kind of side by side. One of them is Source's world. Source is never going to look at something and remind you through the mind of God that you are doing problems, or you are making a mistake, or that you have failed. Anytime you say, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that, I feel guilty," or "I can't believe that person did that, and why did they do this?" That's not Source, because that stops energy from flowing. We were talking about that before. Anything that stops energy from flowing is something that's unnecessary. We live in a world of expansion, of flow. Like I said, I'm building clarity here through these conversations, not trying to stop my energy. So what happens is that we have that world of Source that's always moving and flowing through us, always giving us understanding and answers when we ask and when we allow and receive. That's inside of us. But we also have a world that's kind of stopped up and kind of blame, and kind of this world of contraction and this world of negativity, and that is also inside of us. Now, the interesting thing about understanding that the worlds, so to speak, are inside of us, both of those are inside of us, this is the kicker, and this is what I've learned, and I recommend this highly, is that world out there, everything and everyone, believe it or not, is innocent. It's a white piece of paper. There's nothing there. We're projecting one of these worlds out, never both, but one at a time, out onto that white piece of paper, out onto that neutral world out there of physicality, and then receiving it back. Does that make sense? So let me try to explain this the best I can. Is because that world is neutral, first you have to understand that all we really want is a feeling. I mean, everything's about feeling. $1 million, Abraham Hicks would say, it makes you feel good. And the right partner, it makes you feel appreciated and loved. So it's all about feelings, feelings, feelings. So since we are a eternal spiritual being of feeling, even our senses, every one of our senses go to a feeling. We can't touch something without feeling. We can't smell something, see something without a feeling. You see, there's a feeling aspect to everything, then what we are creating is in order to receive a feeling. Does that make sense? And that feeling is what we're really craving. Oh, I feel the taste of that steak, and oh, that's going to be delicious. You see, and even the words and even the thoughts kind of support the feeling, this idea of feeling essence first and foremost, that feeling underneath. So, because of that, since we are a being of feelings, then the world out there is a reflection. It is reflecting. It doesn't have to give us anything. It is consistently giving us a feeling back. You understand? It's about the feeling that we're receiving back. So because of that, we can call it a mirror. All of our creations are then giving us a certain feeling back, a feeling of love, feeling of appreciation. If you look at anyone that's contracted and stuck and isolated or alone or lonely, it's because they don't feel a certain way. Does that make sense? Now they can say it's because I don't have this and this, but the reality is I just don't feel appreciated. My clients tell me no one understands me and no one gets me. And I'm always kind of getting stuck, wondering what people think of me or maybe pleasing them. Does that resonate with anybody? So that idea of I just need certain feelings. So as we learn that the world is a reflective mirror shining back to us certain feelings of how we feel, we think it's about the world, but it's really about ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our life, how we feel about our source. The more we understand this, and this is the key, the more, we get that, you would call it the key to the kingdom, the key to heaven. What does that mean? What was Jesus talking about when he said the keys to the kingdom? He's simply saying that as you walk around the world and recognize that it's reflecting back to you what you're giving it. That's big to understand. The world can give us nothing. It can only reflect back to us what we're giving it. You see, and that's where it gets a little fuzzy and confusing. If I walk around the world and I find the good in every single thing, man, I really love that tree and the greenery. Wow, it looks like it has a lot of good life. And over here, I really like that color of that car. And whoa, man, I love the blue sky and the beautiful clouds. Then what happens, and this is really important, is that giving energy, I'm giving to the world by looking and finding, so to speak, and then I'm going to receive that back. So I love the clouds. I love me. You see, I feel that circle return back to me in the moment. And that's really important. It's not later. It's now. It's now. It's now. We've heard this idea of present moment now. So as I give the world meaning, I receive it back now. As I love the water flowing through the fountain, I feel that flow moving through me. As I look out and say, man, to my creations, and I give it a meaning of just joy. That child just looks like it's having so much, they look like they're having so much fun. They're just floating around, just not a care in the world, and then I get to receive that back. So everything is coming back to me. Now, as I say, man, I can't believe that person did that, you see, that's going to come back to me in the moment. Now I'm giving sin. I'm judging them, and therefore I'm going to be judged. I'm going to feel that back. Now, not for any other reason, but that's just how it works. Once we understand this is how it works, that's what causes us to stop judging. As you speak, you receive. As you think, you receive. We poison ourselves all the time by thinking about things we can't control. Let's say something in the past. Well, yesterday, I can't believe they did that. Let me tell you all about what happened yesterday. In the meantime, it's just going like this, right back to us. And it's poisoning us. It's dropping our energy. It's contracting our energy. Why? Because our inner being, our source energy that wants to fill us up with love and joy and clarity and expansion is not there. They're not with us. They're over there saying, let's go here. Let's do this. Let's go here. Let's do this. How about you take a right here and go here and let's go have some excitement like a little child. But we're over here stopping our energy, talking and trying to figure something out from the past. Does that make sense? And then poisoning our energy at the same time. Anyone ever come home and maybe a loved one or someone you know, and they're angry and frustrated, and you walk in the door and they blast out at you? You do one thing and you get that backlash, and then you get angry and say, well, you did that to me, and that's why I'm upset with you. Do you see? So what's happening is it's not that they hate you. is that they've been poisoning their mind by thinking about something, probably in the past, something they can't control, something they don't like, maybe even a problem in their body. Oh man, I wish this would stop. I hate this. You see, and as they think about it, it comes back to them and it's poisoning the well, so to speak. You see? So the water, the natural life water that they're getting is being poisoned. Does that make sense? And all because of this understanding of the law that what you think, what you give meaning to, everything is neutral. You give it meaning. You give it meaning. And as you give it any kind of meaning that you don't like, you will receive it back. So, with that understood, now we start giving it meaning from this other world. So here's those two worlds once again. And I'm giving it meaning from the negative world and the world I don't like and the judgment world and the sin world and the guilt world. Oh, I don't know why you did that. And I hate that. Da, da, da. Things we've inherited over a long, long period of time that we don't know is coming from us. We think it's coming from out there. Well, they're giving it to me. They're giving it to me. They're giving it to me. Can I say, for my own sake, that's not possible? And that's where we have to sit. And I recommend everybody sitting with that. What do you mean that's not possible? That person is then giving it to me. That's not possible. The only thing we will ever receive is what we give. You have to sit with that and sit with that and sit with that and go out and find your own way to find it and make it true. But it is true. It is the law. Only what you can receive is what you give. There is nothing else. As you give, you receive. As you give, you receive. Does that make sense? It looks like there's something out there, but the world is inside you. Now, coming back to that, let's imagine now that we were only giving love, as Jesus spoke of only love, right? Love your neighbor. He even said, love your enemy. He even said that death is nothing, murder is not as bad as thinking something bad about somebody. You kind of getting this a little bit? That we're giving. So if we were only giving love, and I know that's tough, but let's say we're only giving love, only joy, only flow, only strength, only power to everybody, including our enemies, including everything and everything out there. Could you imagine all that coming back? And then what is our life going to be like? Oh, we're going to rocket into amazing, extraordinary blessings and gifts, you see? Because Source now is going to be right with us. Oh, I'm here with you. Let's go together. But every time we judge, every time we think about something we don't understand, every time we think about something that we can't figure out, and we feel that binding of energy. Everybody know that feeling? Binding. And we don't stop and we keep going, we poison the well because it's coming from us. All that we do to ourselves because that's the way this works. Everything comes from us, back to us, from us, back to us. I mean, it's beautiful, once again, when you're giving joy and love and beauty and passion, you see. But guess what? We have to give it to our creations. Does that make sense? Now, does it make sense to love your enemy? As you give to them, you will receive it back. See, what's happened is that we're giving, and I hear this all the time, especially with my clients. I'm giving to them, but I'm not getting it back. That's because you're trying to get it back from people or from things or from the past or from even the future. It's now. Energy is now. And I recommend that. Sit with that idea of, as I give, I receive. So if I give even this flower love, I love you. It's easy, right? I appreciate you. Your petals are beautiful. I love the way you look in the light. You bring back such radiance and joy. Feel it come back to you because it might be clogged. That receiving and giving energy is probably very clogged. We don't understand sometimes that it's all coming from us, that the world is coming from within. But as you sit with little things at a time and start receiving, wow, what I'm getting, I am giving. What I'm giving, I am giving with the smallest things. Oh man, this shirt, I love the color of this shirt. I love the fact that it reminds me of the sea and of the ocean. And then you move into something else and you say, man, I love the wood. As I look at the school, I say, I love how it's stained. And it really gives off a really good feel. And slowly but surely, and then you'll hear that other part of your mind. Well, what about this? And what about this? You see? Trying to stifle you, trying to get you stuck. You move away onto something else. But what about this? This kind of reminds me of something feeling very good. And the more you give that good feeling to the world on purpose, to your creations, as you hear that mind on the other side going, no, 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 it's got to be this way. What about this, this, and this? And you start moving away from that and moving into, but this feels good, this feels good, this feels good. You'll see that you are absolutely the creator of everything in your life because you are giving meaning to it now and receiving it back now. And then you will feel those two worlds, one trying to pull you in one direction and the other trying to move you in the other direction. But you know what? A good thing has happened. You now know that it's coming from you. And that's what it's all about. Once you bring the world back to you, regardless if it's two worlds in there that seem to be fighting each other, at least it's not out there. And once that world becomes innocent because you know it's coming from within, a huge part has already been done. And the end is already near. Because now the journey thus becomes to clean up one and move into another, to make another decision. Anytime you feel negative emotion, say, there has to be another way of seeing this because I know both those worlds must live within me. Does that make sense? And then we start making that decision more and more and more until it becomes easier and easier and easier. What an amazing journey when we stop pushing it outside and bring it back inside and recognize the extraordinariness, even the extraordinary that we have both worlds inside of us. There's something magical and delicious about that. Wow, what an amazing adventure this is. And as we let go of one, all things flow through us and we become this perfect vessel and conduit of the godly energy that we all are. I hope this helps. Thanks for following along, and please continue to send on those comments. I love hearing about them. And subscribe and hit the like button if you're enjoying it. And share with everybody. Let's share the word of God, the word of source, the word of truth, and the word of love. Until next time.